Okay, what's up, everyone? Okay, so this is a newer video, newer idea that I had, where I thought I could help people out that are thinking about joining the Air Force, specifically the job that I have right now, cyber transport systems. It's 3D1X2. Just kind of give you my experience so far, so you can this will maybe help you decide if this is a job for you. Um, so Well, first of all, yeah, it's kind of dark in here, just because my webcam doesn't really like the light. I guess it makes it weird. So this is far less annoying the way it is right now. But yeah, so I guess I can run through some things real quick. Basic training, 2 months, sucks, but you get over it. It's basically just a way to weed out people that don't belong here. That's the way I look at it, and it sucks while you're there, but it's kind of a good experience in a way. Um, yeah, not really much to say about that because you can find a ton of info about that. Tech school, when I went through it a year ago, well, I got out a year ago. I got out of tech school a year ago, but it was 9 months long when I did it, almost exactly 9 months long, including all the delays between schools and everything. Um, that was easy, looking back on it, really easy. Kind of annoying because tech school is basically an extension of basic, but you'll get over it too. It's just longer than basic. You have a little bit more freedom. Well, you have a lot more freedom, but you're still restricted in a lot of ways. Like you gotta have a roommate, all that. But that's also a good experience because it's like a really strict university, is the way I would explain it. So not too bad, but okay. So on to the job. I live in Japan. I live in Misawa, Japan, which is northern Japan. It's awesome. I'm really glad I came here. This was number 2 on my list, so I got really lucky. My number 1 was Yokota, which was that's I'm not gonna complain because I got my number 2, so whatever. Anyway, onto the job. Basically, I went to a comm squadron, communication squadron, which is like the bread and butter. Basically, I don't know how to explain it. It's the nuts and bolts of my job, of what I was taught to do. I deal with it all, like switches, routers, installing phones, installing VoIP phones, voice over IP. It's if you want to learn how to become a network engineer, this is the job, basically. I don't know if I could even recommend anything else in the military that's better than this to learn to learn networking, really. Let's see. Yeah, so I work on switches, routers. We do a lot of work remotely, where, like, we service the entire base, which is a lot of people. And if anybody has a problem, anybody meaning anybody at work, like we don't do residential work or anything, but anybody that's working, if they have an issue with their internet connection, or whatever, like if they have a problem with anything with their computer at all, it gets sent to our squadron, and our squadron disseminates it through that, basically to our. If it's a networking issue, they'll send it to our shop, and our shop will disseminate it further. We'll assign it to another person, and that person will figure out what to do with it. So it could be anything, like there could be old POTS systems, plain old telephone systems. There could be a problem with something like that, so you got to go figure that out, or VoIP phones, or switches, routers. You can do it remotely, but sometimes you got to go out on you got to drive out to the site and figure out what's going on. Some problems are more difficult than others, but it's all a really good learning experience. If you're interested in this, you won't hate going to work. I can tell you that. I definitely value my time at work because I learn new things every day. And I mean, this is the job that I selected when I went to before I went to basic training. I selected this job for the reason that I wanted to learn about networking, and I got what I wanted, to say the least. So, other things, you got extra duties at your job, just like every other job in the Air Force, basically. That's not really a big deal. Honestly, I work on average 40 hours a week. Like I know other people in the Air Force might work a lot more, but that's my average time. Like sometimes you'll work a lot more because you got exercises or whatever. That takes a lot more time. But when it comes down to it, I mean, when you include all the days off that I get, or that the military gets in general, yeah, 40 hours a week. I would maybe even a little less than that. Maybe on average, seriously, like 38 hours a week probably. It's really nice. Um, so let's see. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. You get a top secret clearance out of this job, which is great. Um, I don't really know how much value that has in the civilian world. I hear it has a lot, but I don't know. Whatever. Um, yeah, you work with other comm people. Like you'll work with people who specialize in the software side, people that specialize in servers. They all go, to Keesler. That's the tech school that you go to, and they'll learn basically like the sister or what the sister side. Like I don't know how you explain it, but they learn a different part of your job, or not really your job, but like an extension of your job, and like you're learning an extension of their job basically. Like I don't know, you just all work together, basically, is the way I can say it. And there's lots of opportunity to learn. If you apply yourself, there's lots of people who say, "Man, I'm gonna get out of the Air Force and I'm gonna start making $80,000 a year." Well, first of all, no, you're probably not, unless you're a networking genius and you have your CCNA and your CCNP and you had prior experience and you have a ton of kick-ass Air Force experience and like you get lucky on the outside. I would still say that you're probably not going to get a job that pays that much. That's a ton. But people just seem to think that they will because they go on monster.com and they type in network engineer, which we're like the lowest level of network engineer. I wouldn't even call us a network engineer, basically. We just work on networks. There's nothing engineering about our job at all. So, but if you do apply yourself and you go out there and you get your CCNA, you get whatever other certs you want to get, if you have real concrete knowledge of your job and you don't just sit around, like I know people that honestly, don't know as much as they could after being here for, X amount of time. They could know a lot more than they do, but they don't because they don't apply themselves. And sometimes those happen to also be the people that want to get out and make a ton of money on the outside or whatever, but it doesn't always work out that way. People, I think, overestimate how much money can be made in the civilian world because just having a CCNA isn't going to guarantee you a $60,000 a year job. You got other things to couple with that. So that's just a tidbit. You have to apply yourself. So let's see. I signed on for 4 years. I'm halfway through it right now, and I go back and forth on the re-enlisting thing because this life is good right now. Like I like my life. I'm not working too much. I'm single, living in the dorms. I'm making good money. I like my work. Like there's really nothing to complain about, and I go back and forth on re-enlisting or not. But it wouldn't be a bad option, for me personally, to re-enlist. I don't know. Your mileage may vary, of course, but I don't know. It just depends on your specific situation. Like I've been told not to judge your re-enlistment or your first enlistment or whatever, your re-enlistment decision on your first base, but I have because I like my first base. So I don't know, but just I don't know. There's a lot of people that stay in, there's a lot of people that get out. So I'm still weighing that decision in my mind, and you probably will too. But I would suggest, no matter what, signing on for 4 years. Don't get sucked into the 6-year trap. I know some people are happy that they sign on for 6 years, but I don't think I've met anyone that is happy that they sign on for 6 years because it's really nice to have that flexibility to be able to get out or re-enlist at 4 years. It's huge. Because right now, people that sign on at the same time as me, they're 1/3 of the way through their first enlistment, and I'm halfway through my first enlistment. Like, it gives you way more flexibility. Like, please do yourself a favor and consider how long you're signing on for before you sign the dotted line. So let's see. I haven't deployed yet. I wouldn't say that this is a highly deployable career field. I do know people who have deployed, but two of the two people I know in my shop who have deployed have done it because they volunteered for it. So it's I won't say you're not going to get deployed, but right now it seems like there's a low chance to get deployed. Either way, I don't think getting deployed's not a big deal. I don't know much about it, but from what I've heard, it's not that bad. So let's see if there's anything else I can say. I don't know. I mean, you kind of work in the job. You kind of work help desk a little bit, but there's a specific team within your squadron. if you work in a comm squadron whose prime responsibility is to take calls. They take the call for the customer who's having a problem, and they decide who to forward the call to based on the problem they're having. Like if it's a networking issue, it goes to my shop. If they're having a software issue, it goes to a different shop. Whatever. Or if it's a simple problem, maybe they'll take care of it right then. So, but it does still happen. Like people will get the direct line to your shop, and they'll be like, "Hey, I need you to fix this for me." And sometimes you're like, that's not me. That's not my job. I don't do that. You need to call this number." So, sometimes that'll happen. But I don't know. If you get in this career field, you'll learn it all. You'll learn everything I'm telling you. So, let's see. You do some work with secret stuff. I don't really know what to say. Really, it's pretty. I don't really work with it too much. You will work with secret stuff a lot if you get assigned to an intelligence squadron. Like there was a person I went to basic training with and tech school with. We were in all the same classes together. It was crazy. And then we got our first base together. Like he lives right there, but he's in a different squadron. He works in intelligence, but same flight in base training, same flight in tech school or whatever, and different squadrons, but same base. So same first base. So it's pretty crazy. But he works with a lot of secret stuff, and I don't know. I can never tell when he's being real with me about what he does because he can't really talk about it. I don't blame him. I don't really pressure him. Like sometimes I'm like, "What do you do, dude? Like you work on switches, you work on routers," and he'll give me a general answer like, "No, not really," and then just stop it. So I have no idea what he does. I suspect it's a lot of paperwork and stuff like that, but he also probably knows a ton of stuff that I don't know about specific stuff. So in terms of communication squadron, if you get assigned to one of those, you're not going to really work with a lot of secret stuff. It's not, in my experience anyway, that's not really going to happen. So Japan's awesome. Job's awesome. If you were thinking about getting this job, I would definitely suggest it, especially if you're interested in computers, computer networking. You learn it all. So, well, this video is way longer than I wanted it to be. There's nothing else really. I mean, if you guys want more info, I can do another one of these. I'm pushing one of these out because I think there were a few videos that were on YouTube before I decided to join. And they were good for a little bit of info, but I don't think they really broke down the job really that much. So, but I mean, honestly, everything in this video, this is my experience at this one base, in this one squadron, in this one shop. So your experience could be completely different. I know there are people who taught me at tech school that were assigned to stuff like the AWACS, which is like this big ass plane. It's crazy stuff. And they just do a wide range of jobs. So you can do anything. It's a wide area career field. But for me, I'm in the meat and bones, my career field. So that's about it. If you want to know anything else, just let me know. Comments, whatever. See ya.